Billboards and the jitterbug phone, they both like big text. But is the same true of your Facebook and Instagram ads? Could the same bold text that gets billboards noticed on the side of the road actually be hurting your cost per click? Our social media scientists dug into this topic to discover a 32% lower CPC. Did it come from the ads with or without text? Stay tuned to find out. It's the Social Media Lab Live!
Are you ready to use science to bust some myths in the social media ecosystem?
Great Scott!
Welcome to the Social Media Lab Live, brought to you by Agorapulse, where our social media scientists experiment on real accounts to crack the code on social media success for your business.
Type 5 to subscribe to the show.
Now your hosts, Owen Video and Scott Ayers.
Hey, welcome back to the Social Media Lab Live, where social media professionals get to bust the myths, the rumors, and the stories of social media marketing with
science.
We are live every Wednesday at 9 a.m. PST on Facebook and on YouTube, and you can join the tribe when you give me 5. That's right. Type 5 right down below to join the Social Media Lab Lounge, get insider access, contribute to the show, and more in our private Facebook group for social media nerds. Just type 5 in the comment section. Now, I'm Owen Video, your host MC, and I'm here with the number one social media scientist, Scott Ayers. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning. It's good to see all of you this morning. So our question today, I don't know if we have it in the lower third, but we want to know, do you run Instagram or Facebook ads? So let us know in the comments, are you running Instagram ads right now or Facebook ads? And kind of maybe let us know what you're testing.
Yeah,
or what you'd like to see us test in the Social Media Lab. I posted a little thing in our group the other day. And by the way, type 5 and you'll get an invite to our group. Post a little thing. Hey, what if you had $1,000? What would you test?
That's good
on ads, and we got some really cool responses. And so I'm using that sort of stuff to decide what I test in the lab. So we love your input. So let us know.
Plus, it's also good to know sort of, who out there is running ads and who out there is sort of depending on more of an organic approach, which I think both are admirable. We've run ads on a giant number of campaigns. We've also, sought for more of an organic result on platforms like YouTube and Instagram. So Facebook has really been, I've run a couple ads on Instagram. I've run a couple ads on Instagram, but for the most part, we've been like a Facebook advertiser, and right now we're not running any ads. We're actually focusing more on YouTube and Instagram as our growth platform. So I'd love to even know what are your growth platforms? Like, what are the big growth platforms that you're focusing on? Scott, where do you think the future of paid advertising is? Do you think it's on Facebook, or do you think it's on something new?
I think Instagram is still really hot. It's still cheap, especially story ads.
Yeah.
They're much cheaper, and you can't really get away from story ads, because if you're like most and you're in stories, you're just kind of tap, swipe, and there's an ad. So you might swipe away real fast, but I catch myself a lot lately because the ads are getting better targeted. That I'm like, ooh, what's this app? Ooh, what's this blog post? Or what's this podcast? So I'm finding on the stories that they're really cheap, and I'm testing those right now. But I think the attention's there. We're in the feed. You can kind of decide if you want to look at it or not. You go over it really fast. And so, yeah, I think Instagram is still there. I would love to see what the advertisement's going to be like on TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot better TikTok ads right now. They look and feel just like a normal TikTok instead of an ad. Those really stand out. What I hate when you open up TikTok and the first thing you see is an ad now.
Okay.
And you've got to skip it. I hate that.
So that's what I was gonna say is that I'm seeing those pre-roll ads on TikTok, and right. As a business person, I appreciate that it's there. Totally. I really do. I appreciate that they're there, because it's letting me know that TikTok is sort of run by mature people. I don't know if you guys remember when Snapchat launched a couple years ago. There was all this talk about, like, what are we going to do to monetize this? Like, how do we monetize this? And TikTok, and I think that all of these apps nowadays are launching with this idea of we need to be monetized from the very beginning, which I think is really radical. In fact, I got a lot of flack for that back in the days of YouTube. Yeah, because I was monetized on YouTube from the get-go. I was getting customers. I was asking for business. And the sort of the YouTube gurus who are my friends and people that I really love and respect were kind of like, well, Owen, like that's not how you grow a channel. And they were right to a certain extent, right? Like it's really hard to get sort of pushed into the suggested video feeds when your videos are actually causing people to go off site, right? It's really hard to get into the suggested feed if you're sending people off of YouTube. And so they were right in that respect. But at the same time, I was monetized since the very beginning, which enabled me to do this full time and not have to work a job or take too many of these like social media clients, which is what I was doing a lot of that back in those days. So would love to hear from you guys in the comment section. Where are you spending your time? Are you spending your time with advertisements? Are you building organically? And where are you? Like, where's the future of your business? Is it Instagram? Is it Facebook? Is it TikTok? Is it YouTube? We would love to hear from you in the comment section because we have a really big show for you today and we can't wait to get to it. But first, we have a meme contest that we want to invite you to. We have a meme contest happening right now, and if you want to enter the contest, just type 5 into the comment section now. And if you're already in the group, just go to the Social Media Lab group and catch up with us there. Check it out. Here's what we do. We provide you with a blank meme space. And then your job is to fill in that space with something funny or something smart or something clever, whatever it is that you want. There really aren't a lot of rules other than let's keep it appropriate, right? I'm talking to you, Dustin Stout. That guy is always walks the line.
Preaching to yourself, sounds like.
Yeah, I know. I'm reminding myself. No, it's good. That's really good. Can we show the blank meme? So here's the blank meme. Okay? And your job is to take the blank meme and then fill it in with your own joke or your own content or whatever it is that you want to do. Can we show a couple examples of what's been submitted already? So here's a couple of examples. Scott, can you read those? I don't have my screen on in front of me right now.
Yeah, the first one has Owen saying, Scott, did you eat my Valentine's Day candies? And candies nuts is what I said. And somebody in the background said, ha, got him. I believe that one was from George, maybe? Was that George
Demanis? Yeah.
It's either George or Sean. I forget which one that is. The next one says, this meme has 3 panels. And then I say, I could have done it in one. And then you say nothing, which I thought I like that one. That
was a good one.
And then Naomi's was, what would be fun if we both wore wigs on the show? And I say, is that what you're calling that thing? And you just say, dude. Yeah, that's a good one. I like
brutal.
That one.
I like it. I do like it as well.
Yeah,
Carlos
roasted
Phoenix.
You on that one.
I know and you know what? Naomi's always very funny. In fact, if you want to giggle a little bit, she's got a great TikTok as well. Naomi, go ahead and post your post your TikTok link in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you there. Want to say what's up to our friends. I'm a little scratchy today, guys. Forgive me. Ricardo Pinedo, Deb Mitchell in the house. Naomi Nakashima, who is our top fan. Angela Q is logging in. My favorite event manager for Social Media Day San Diego. Mandy Joe Reindage, the walking and jogging queen. We also have a few others out there. Rafael Estrada, who is my t-shirt maker, my graphic designer, one of my good buddies out in Tennessee. Carlos Phoenix is logging in. Who else do we have out there, Scott?
Of course, Deb Mitchell. We love Deb. Deb's our community manager at Agora Pulse, so it's good to see her on here. Eric Fisher hopped on a watch party. If you're on a watch party, remember, we can't pull in your comments, so you want to hop over to the live video. Unless you're on mobile, at least on Android, you can hop back and forth. But if you're commenting in a watch party, we can't pull your comments in on the screen. So make
it's
sure
so interesting how Android and iPhone have like these completely different features.
Does iPhone not have that?
Not to my knowledge, but I might be using it wrong. But even with one of our editing softwares that we use on my Mac, I can do like I'm trying to go over to I'm trying to show Melissa some shortcuts, and it's like the shortcuts just don't exist on a PC. And so there's a learning curve that's still happening, and it's really awkward. Kathy Jung is logging in. She says, I can't do memes, but I can try drawing it. We would love to see that. Emma Dumel is saying hi from the south of France. Great to see you out there. Thanks for joining us today. Patricia Somner is there. Uwat Godwin is logging in from Africa. Good to see you out there. And we had, Lily Tree logging in, but I think I deleted that window from my screen here. So Lily Tree, we're glad to have you, and thanks for joining us as usual. Our show today is brought to you by a phenomenal company. Scott, why don't you tell them a little bit about our sponsor?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, our show is brought to you by Agora Pulse. If you're needing a way to manage all of your social media, you take care of your inbox, which is such a pain trying to do it on all the platforms itself. Schedule content. If you've got a team, it especially comes in handy because you can assign messages and comments to different parts of your team depending on what their tasks are. And we do help you track. We're one of the only platforms that helps you track your Facebook ad comments, which is really, really hard to do. So make sure you run over to getagorapulsenow.com. Sign up for a free trial. Once you're done with your free trial, if you use this coupon code LIVE, your first month on the contract will actually be free. So getagorapulsenow.com and go ahead and grab your free trial.
That's great. Yeah, I just got a call today from one of my clients who said that he loves how Agora Pulse compiles all the information and your notifications all in one. And he asked me that very same question. So Travis Key of Haas Tools, phenomenal Facebook Live show, phenomenal YouTube channel. They're great clients and friends, and I told him you got to be on Agora Pulse. And he wrote me this morning. He says, "But can Agora Pulse track my Facebook ad comments?"
Yes.
And I didn't know the answer to that, but you just told me that we can. So that's great to hear. And Travis, we'll connect later and we'll talk about how to do that. Okay, let's talk about our content for today because we've covered some stuff like this in the past where we're actually analyzing the value of text on a Facebook and an Instagram ad and whether it's helping or hurting your ad campaigns. Now, as you know, I don't read ahead. Truth be told, folks, I don't have the time. I don't have the time between 2 live shows and a YouTube channel plus client work every single week. I don't have time to review all the results and prep this real mystique, approach. So I don't actually know who won this campaign, but I do know this, that the winner of this campaign, the winner of this test, actually saw a decrease in cost per click by 32%, which is extremely important because your cost per click is essentially your profit margin, right? Is that right, Scott? Am I far off, or talk to us about that?
I mean, that's how there's 2 different. You can look at the cost per click or the cost per impression. So there's different fields of thought. We always like to look at cost per click because it just shows the boss. What how you're saving money by doing something a certain way. Bosses tend to look at CPC. So I think anytime you can get a lower cost per click, which means you're paying a lot less to get people to click on that link, you want to figure out ways to leverage that. And of course, a lot of times in our tests, what we're doing is we're testing small little things and the smaller budget, to some regards, a small budget, to kind of to see if what the experts are claiming or what people say are actually working on. So that's kind of why we tested this one. There's actually, I couldn't find, except for one, I couldn't find any real studies on this whatsoever. Like I spent like a day or so just like searching. I'm like on the 12th page of Google trying to search results to try to find something. And I found one. It was from a company called Sketchbook, which is just a web design company. They're not a advertising company like that. And they had tested text on their photos versus no text on their photos. And the interesting thing for them is they found that their ads without text actually perform better. But the problem I had with them is, one, I don't know, it didn't really go into the details. Only 6 or 7% lower CPC. They didn't go into a lot of detail of how much they spent, and it was only 80% certainty on the statistical significance side of things, which isn't enough to say it's a legit thing. We require at least 90 to 95% in order to say, yes, this should happen. Basically what that means is if you ran the test or I ran the test again, I should expect the same results if I get at least 90 to 95% certainty. So I kind of threw this one out the window because it was the only one I could find. But it was kind of interesting. Sometimes on these tests, I'm like, is anybody testing this? But I can't find anything. This was one of those cases.
Yeah, we had a great question that's up on the screen now. Does your image speak for itself? So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment area right now. Are you like me? I always add text to my images. I am a word guy. I am. Look at my shirt, right? My pullover has the word Agora Pulse. We have words on the screen. I have words on my mic flag. I am a word guy, and to the point of which it's like actually detrimental. I was watching one of our YouTube videos that I filmed the other day, and I'm wearing a shirt with a bunch of words on it. I got a bunch of words on the screen. I got a bunch of words on even my logo, Owen Video, is words, right? It's not even just like one picture logo. So I always add words. to everything that I do. What about you? Do you guys add words, or do you have more of a photography mindset where the image speaks for itself? I'd love to hear from you in the comment section, and I'm talking to you, Stephanie Lou, Batrick, Danielle Gerlov, David Edinger, Peter Hines, Randy Musser, Robert C. Stern, Johnny Gaston. It's great to have you guys in the audience. Thanks for joining us today. Same with you, Sang Baran. Thanks for joining us. Glad to have you here. And we hope to wow you today, Carlos Zepeda. Thanks for logging in with the great content that we have up for you today. So, Scott, as you know, we do everything here from a scientific approach that starts with a hypothesis, okay, and then takes us all the way down to the conclusion. So, talk to us, Scott, about what was your hypothesis that launched this study?
Yeah, so the hypothesis on this, and like I mentioned, I couldn't find any good studies, but I'm going to go on the fact that Facebook encourages you and even has some rules about how much text you can have into a photo in the ad. We said that image ads on Facebook and Instagram with text produces more clicks and lower CPC. And if you remember, we did, I think, our last show or 2 shows ago, because last show was the whole Family Feud thing, which was a blast, by the way.
That was so fun.
The little videos and the animated GIFs that I got from Chad eating a banana and stuff are worth the entire show episode that we
absolutely,
did.
100%, yeah.
But the show before that, we talked about an organic test on Instagram with text on the images and without text on the images. And if you remember on that one, images without text actually perform better as far as reach and engagement.
Right.
But they're not ads. It's just the organic stuff that people just see from the people they follow. So we went the opposite route with this. And because of Facebook's focus, especially on, like, remember they used to have the 20% rule, and they still kind of do in ads, a rule where you can't do more than 20% text.
Right.
They know that text really stands out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we had the hypothesis that we did.
Well, I'm really curious to dig into this because, like Naomi Nakashima is saying, yes, her ads have words on them. I find it very challenging to even create an ad that doesn't have words. Patricia Sommer is saying, if the message is clear, image and text both work, and clarity is so important. Lily Tree, who is watching us on YouTube, says, I like a few well-chosen words. And it's interesting because Lily Tree has got a highly visual business that I see on Instagram all the time. So I'm curious to see how you conducted this experiment. Because here's the thing, like with text, you automatically sort of narrow your audience because you're only speaking to the people in the world that speak that language. So Scott, talk to us a little bit about how you conducted this experiment. Where did you test? What was the audience? Give us some of the background.
Yeah, so what we did is we ran a test on Instagram with an Instagram ad and a test on Facebook with a Facebook ad. Real simple. And we targeted English-speaking users only because the content we're sending them to is in English. So that's why we did it that way. So no offense to anyone who doesn't speak English, but you don't understand me right now anyway. So.
Yeah, you're not offended anyway.
We target, and because of that, we also make sure we target. Thank you, audience. Thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you, Mom. We targeted people in Australia, Canada, the UK, and the United States. Those are typically the target audience. And we try to target users who had interacted with our accounts recently. That way they at least know who we are. Because it's always the worst thing when it's a real cold call and kind of ad. You want to at least know who they are at first. Sure. And then in each setting, the ads were identical except for we put a little bit of text in the image, and it was a very small amount. Like, I didn't go crazy on it. I just literally put a little bit of text in each image to kind of just make it a little bit different to kind of see if anything changed on it. And on Instagram, the ad was in the feed and the stories. Facebook was just on the feed. And
okay.
I did send it to mobile and desktop, but like, at least 80% of those who saw it were on mobile, because that's where pretty much all your ads are going to be seen these days. I'm actually running another test just to prove that right now, that I've done 2 months now of testing that to prove that mobile is really the way to go on Facebook. Just to
I love that, because I'll tell you, I am on desktop all day long. I'm on a desktop all day long. In fact, I'd love to hear from you guys. When you're on social, are you more on mobile or more on desktop? I'm on my desktop all day long, but I'm really not scrolling on my desktop. My desktop is more like a map, like especially Facebook, because my Facebook tab is open all day long, and my YouTube tab is open all day long. But it's open so that I can like go to YouTube, or go to Facebook, click on the Owen video page, go find a link, and link it to a prospect that's asking me about the program. Or I can go to YouTube, I can find a playlist and grab the, rarely am I like searching and scrolling. That is all done from mobile. So I would actually say that I'm a mobile person, really. And when I'm involved in that activity, it's more fun. Like I'm on Facebook and I'm on for fun and to enjoy and to see what's going on. When I do my like prospecting, because I do a lot of one-to-one prospecting, identifying thought leaders that would do well on YouTube, I'm doing that from a desktop, and I'm very, very intentional with that time. It's like 1 hour of this time. Sang Baran is saying more on desktop. Naomi Nakashima is saying 99% of the time I'm on a desktop, but I'm intentional and strategic rather than scrolling. Good. So I'm not the only one. Mina Grace Erosa is logging in. Great to have you there. Patricia Summer is saying mobile. Kathy Jung is saying depends. That is so Kathy Jung to give us like I'm looking over here, by the way, because I can see Scott over here. Normally I see Scott over here.
Oh, no.
But not today. Brian J. Ortega is saying text can be designed to fit and work well with the images. I'm hearing a lot about using text for to create like a YouTube thumbnail type of appeal. Right. So we're going to show you guys what the ads look like in just a second. But first, let's talk about what accounts did you use to run this from. So we already kind of know the basics, but where did you, was this just on the Agorapulse page, or did you guys expand beyond that?
Yeah, we use the Agorapulse Facebook page for the Facebook ad, and we use the Agorapulse Instagram account for the Instagram ad. And on each ad, we dedicated $500 to Instagram, $500 to Facebook. And then, of course, that's because, the good thing about Facebook Ads Manager is you can do a split test with the creative, which is what we did on this instance. And it evenly splits the ad dollars pretty much evenly, down to a couple of pennies usually. It split the ad dollars evenly between the text and no text on the photos for each one of those.
Great. So let's take a look at the ads. Show us what those ads look like as we dig into this study on which performed better, ads with text or ads without text. Let's take a look. So Scott, tell us what we're looking at as soon as you...
Yeah, and that's actually both the same image there. That's actually one of those images needs to be without text. But yeah, so what we did is we ran an ad. This is what the ad on Facebook looked like, except for one. Like I said, one of them is going to have no text.
Well, I think that this is the same ad. I think this is the same ad. One is just on a mobile view.
Oh, we're showing mobile and desktop. Gotcha. Okay, so there's a difference there. So we can go back and forth if you want while I'm talking. But yeah, so one of them, it was the same link. We've sent it to people on Facebook to a link that's about Facebook, about the whole reach, apocalypse kind of thing.
Got it.
And then I just added a very small amount of text onto that featured image. Is reach dead? And if you go to the other one, you'll see that's not there. That's the only difference in that Facebook ad. Again, very simple, not like crazy in your face, but at least right now, if you look at this image, you don't know 100% what that's about necessarily. You see the graphs going down, and there's a guy, with orange hair, Cheeto wig, looking confused, but you don't really know what it means. And so that's why I put an is reach dead. At least, before you even click on the link, a little bit more without having to read, the description or read the text itself. You kind of know what it is. So that's what the Facebook ad looked like.
So let's ask the audience right now, like, which ad makes more sense to you? Can we pull those up again? Let's show the one with text or whichever one you want to put up there, Melissa. Which one appeals more to you? Do you like right off the bat? Because the difference is so nuanced. It's so minute, right? You've got like this one that says is reach dead in orange. What I like most about it is that it's in orange, which is the opposite of blue, and so it stands out a little bit more. But then you've got so much text all around it. You've got text above with the description. You've got text below on the link direction. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the audience. Which of these do you like more and why? Tell me what you like more in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you and hear your comments. Was that intentional? I don't think so. Dax Castro is watching us on YouTube, and he says, I read the one with orange text much faster. So that's really interesting in the flash test, right? Like right when you see it, what's your 3-second opinion on that?
Exactly.
Dax Castro saying the other one made me focus to read and understand. 2 to 4 word key messaging seems appropriate. So that's a good conversation that we're having about sort of the YouTube thumbnail appeal, which is what I really like in an ad. You know, when I see an ad that is just like a great image, I sort of like feel like it's an ad and you're trying to get me to see more and I'm just like too busy to see more. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I do like to kind of see an ad that just sort of says like, you know, value statement, right? Like get more views. And now all of a sudden I'm interested and I didn't have to like tap through to find out, right? That's me personally, but I message because it immediately tells me the message. Okay, or the image in orange first. Sangbaran is saying with text for readability. So I think we're getting a lot of comments on the orange text. So Scott, let's keep going down the rabbit hole then. So now we know the ads. Is there any more ads for us to look at? I think there are, right?
Yeah,
so
we
have
the Instagram ad. Yeah.
Okay, let's go take a look at that.
Drum roll. So this is the Instagram ad, and basically what we were doing, we were actually running an ad over to a training course that our friend Jen Herman from Jen's Trends, somebody tagged her in the comments, was running, and it kind of had like a "It Starts Friday" kind of thing. So she had this image that she was using on the website, and so what I did here, I did add 2 lines of text where it had the name of it in black and then the pink to kind of match her shoes because she's all about the shoes.
She is.
And so that's why I put the "Starts Friday" in pink. And you can see there it would look like on the feed versus the story. Now, I didn't change the creative for the story to be the full screen intentionally because, again, I was just trying to leave it all the same. And so I could have, and I probably should have, if you're an ad expert, don't yell at me, but you should make a creative that's, fit for stories. I was actually listening to someone's podcast today. I forget who it was, but they were talking about when they see an ad that's, not optimized for the feed, they like blah, they want to throw up in their mouth a little bit. So there was a little bit of difference there, but for the sake of testing, we just wanted to see if the text and the image made any difference or not.
So that's now why Jen Herman's ad specifically? Was there any reason why you chose her account?
Well, we don't run a lot of ads that are not to our own product, but we wanted to see if that helped get some signups and what that looked like. We were doing some other testing as well to see, because the hard thing sometimes for us when we're testing, we're either just testing free trials for Agora polls, which doesn't always give a great sign. It's not really something I can apply to everybody because not everybody has the software for the free trial, or we're just tracking clicks to a blog post. So we just kind of wanted to play around with that on this ad. And it was a time sensitive sort of deal too. And so, because I think this ad only ran like 5 or 6 days because her intensive was starting, on that Friday and closing. So it was kind of a cool thing to kind of play around with. And we love Jen to death. So.
Yeah. Okay. So you ran these tests and you ran them for 5 days. You sent traffic to them. Let's talk about the results. What type of results did we get? What type of data did you get back from this test? Let's start taking a look at who won the ad contest.
Yeah, the thing with the paid ads, the paid experiments, there's not a lot of data to talk about. We could get into like the detailed numbers, and you can see that in the blog post, and we'll put the link. The blog actually just went live this morning, so Owen had to ask me for the link like 10 minutes before we started. Hey, what's the link to the blog? Because he didn't have it.
I told you guys, I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah. Like I'm literally catching up on this stuff.
This morning. I sent Google Doc stuff to Melissa for her to take care of it. But yeah, so on the Facebook ad, we'll look at that one first. The Facebook ad with text had a 20.41% lower cost per click and almost 20% more clicks. So a pretty good sized number. And then we put that into a statistical significance calculator, which we mentioned in the beginning, talking about the test from Sketchbook that I found. The Facebook ad actually was 100% certain. If you were to run that test again, or if I were to run the test again, I believe it was, I'm making sure I say that right. Yeah, it was 100. That if we run this test again, that we would get, actually Instagram was 100. Facebook was 98. So I want to make sure I say the data correct. We don't have that image up, but I was looking at the blog post. Facebook was 98% certain. So what that means, if we were to run the test again, we should see the similar sort of results every single time that we run it. So over 20% lower cost per click is a lot for me. I mean, think about, if you're thinking about, $10, if you're spending got a $10 ad budget, what is that? $25, $2.50. I mean, a quarter of your budget, almost $20. I mean, 20% of your budget difference you can save and get that much more clicks. I mean, that's a big deal for me.
Tell me why.
And then because it's saving money. I mean, if I spend $500 in this ad, what's 20% of $500? I mean, that compounds very, very fastly. About 20, that's $100.
Yeah.
Of the 500 that we could get more clicks by spending another $100 with the add-on text.
What does that do for your profit margins?
Well, I think that depends on your product. I mean, if I have money to save though, if it only costs me, let's say it costs me $1 to get a client and I make $5, but I spend $1.50 and I still only make, 3.5, 4.5. I want to spend less. And so I want to spend less on every time I get a click over to an ad. And that's where I think this sort of stuff is really important to me.
Yeah, having run ads before, and I'd love to hear from you guys in the audience. Have you run ads before? And tell me what you ran ads to. Did you run ads to a post, to a launch, to a subscribe? Like maybe you ran some YouTube ads to get some subscribers, which is a horrible, horrible, horrible idea.
Oh, really?
I know from experience. Yeah, I mean, you might be able to get your subscribers up, maybe, but it's really hard to get a click, right? Because for the most part, people are watching on mobile and they're about to watch something else, right? So they're like, oh, I wanted to watch this video about X, and you're asking me to view this channel about Y, and then go to that channel and then forget what I was doing. Like, it's a big ask on YouTube. And what can happen is you might get that subscriber, but are they going to tune into the rest of your work? And subscribers that don't watch your future videos are like giant cannonballs in your hot air balloon of YouTube. So you got to be really careful with that. But I'd like to know, for you in the audience, have you run ads before, and what have you run ads to? We would love to hear from you. Bobby Stamps is saying, the right side is my choice. The bold text grabs me. Me too. I'm a word person. In fact, my love language is words of affirmations. And that's big for me. Kathy Jung is saying, depends, and she's being honest, because I take classes online and I can be on a phone or a laptop. Okay. Bobby Stamps is saying he spends about 6 hours on the phone outside. Being outside is key to his overall health. I agree with that. That's great to hear from you. So have you guys run ads, and what have you run them to? Let us know. Naomi Nakashima is saying, yes, I typically run ads on Pinterest for lead generation and then retarget on Facebook. So that's big. That's obviously very mature. Very mature program, Naomi. We're glad to see that you're running that. For me, again, I like to see those words. I like to know, hey, where do you want me to go? Because I'm open to it. How many of you guys are open to ads? Right? I am like not one of these, oh, I hate ads people. Like, I've loved advertisements since I was a kid. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an actor. And I wanted to be an actor specifically in commercials. Like, I thought commercials were the greatest thing ever because they were fun, they were quick. Like, there's no like memorizing lines. It's just kind of like, this mouthwash is for me. I loved that type of things. I remember I would watch a commercial and then I would reenact the commercial, kind of like I Love Lucy, where she carves out the TV. She removes the TV from the box and she does her own little show inside the box. I used to love that stuff. So I like watching ads, and I'm open to seeing what you have to sell me. I feel like I've made some great purchases from Instagram. Like, there's good stuff in that Instagram news feed, but I don't want to have to guess what your ad's about. Scott, what do you think? Am I way off? Am I way on? Tell me.
No, I think that's true. I think Sean was saying on our watch party in the lab that the one with the words made him quickly and easily know what's happening without having to read a lot. And I think that's why we're seeing on the Facebook ad so far that 20% lower cost per click. People kind of knew a little bit and they were enticed more to go. We weren't selling them anything, but for running ads to a blog, you want to entice them a little bit more. And so it tells me that on Facebook especially, maybe because our featured image is typically on the lab blog don't have text on it unless the graphic we've made alludes to some sort of text. So it may be somewhere we got to go, okay, maybe we should go back and add some more text. Even on our organic stuff on Facebook, maybe we should do that. What I'm seeing here is everybody saying, I want to read it fast. I don't want to read all your text and all your copy. I just want to look at the image. So it's something to think about, even organically to think about. Yeah, and I think you've got something to think about in terms of the size of your text and the color of your text, right? Like, we heard a lot of comments saying that the bold orange text really stands out.
I'd love to know, like, I'd love to see in the future, like, just really big, like Dax was saying on the thumbnail side of things, like a really big, really big orange text. And does that make a difference? Like the size of the actual text. So I'd love to hear from you guys in that regard. Dax Castro on YouTube is saying the other thing is the leading line in that image makes your eyes fall to the right. So he's talking about the Jen Herman image now. And then you have to go back to the left and read the type text. That's really interesting. That's interesting right there. Lily Tree is saying, I like just pictures artistically, but including text provides the context, so I'd look and click for more. Dax is again saying, I personally like less text in this case from a readability standpoint. The bold text on pink background does not have enough separation, and it's kind of hard to read. You know where I'm gonna break from Dax on this a little bit, because this is an Instagram story ad, correct, Scott?
It was a mix of story, and we did it in the story and the feed.
So the pink one was the story ad, correct?
Right. Yeah,
okay.
That's what it is.
So here's what I like about a story ad. I like it when a story ad can get me to stop, right? And get me to you place your thumb or your finger on the phone to stop the things moving, and it gets me to read. So I really like that strategy of having like a powerful image, in this case, an image of Jen Herman, who I would naturally stop on because I know Jen, right? So I would naturally stop on her. But if it was like, it was a powerful image, okay? Let's see. For me, it would probably be like an editing plugin or something, or perhaps like a family activity, like an inflatable kayak. If I saw an ad for an inflatable kayak, I just bought one, by the way, because I saw an ad for it. And we love it, by the way. I'm all about family fun activities. So when I see that type of image, I would have put my finger on it to stop the scroll. And that is so powerful. That is so powerful. That counts as like watch time, really, on these images. And so adding a whole bunch of text with the powerful image, right? The powerful image causes the viewer to go, huh? And then you stop, and now you're kind of like getting watch time on that, which is going to get that ad shown to more people at a lower cost. So I really, really like that. Amanda Brown is saying that she runs video view ads and then retargets to over 50% views with pixeled audiences. So once again, I mean, we're looking at really, really mature ad runners in our audience, and Kristen Curry, Susan Strang, and Laura Pence Atencio logging in on the Owen Video Watch Party. Hey, talk to us about, did we show the Instagram ad results yet?
No, we've talked a lot about Instagram, so this is the one we kind of led with earlier to get you to watch this thing. The Instagram ad with text on the image had 32.05 lower CPC.
Wow.
And then look at the clicks, 46.88% more clicks than the same ad without text on that little image. And like I said, you saw it was very low amount of text, but that's a huge difference. What it tells me is, thank you. Yes, thank you. What it tells me is that, people really do pay attention to that text. They really saw it, caught their attention. The other one didn't entice them. They just kind of kept scrolling by it or swipe by it in the stories, where that text stood out enough, and it kind of, that pink played into it, and the intent, in Instagram intensive being up kind of high, kind of had to make them look to the right a little bit when they're looking at their phone. And so, that's a huge difference for me.
Now, why do you think that was? Do you think that there's more clickers on Instagram in general because Facebook is such like a madhouse marketplace? Like Facebook, for real, is the marketplace in Aladdin. When he, one jump ahead of the bread line, right? Like that is Facebook. Everybody is on Facebook for all sorts of reasons. Whereas Instagram, I think it's a little bit more niche. What do you think, Scott? Like, why did you see such a huge jump in the results? And I want to hear from you in the audience. Those of you watching us right now, and I'm talking to you, Trish Vroom. I'm talking to you, Karen Atkinson Carr. Great to see you. Dustin Stout, Naomi Nakashima, and Amanda Brown. Why do you think there was a higher click-through rate on Instagram? Was it really a better ad, or was it a better audience? Scott, why don't you share your thoughts first?
Well, I mean, I think Instagram in general tends to be a better audience. I mean, you're going to pay more for the CPC. Like, for example, the Instagram ad with text on Instagram costs us $1.06 per click. The ad with text on Facebook only cost me 39 cents per click.
Okay,
but the Instagram tends to be a better platform as far as people, for one, they accept ads more. They're a little more open to them because it's a different experience. But they do tend to be a lot more targeted as far as your user. Granted, if you got to target it correctly first, but Instagram users in general, and the studies I've been doing, the tests I've been doing, tend to be a little more open to ads and they're used to ads. Where Facebook is still that, get off my lawn, don't advertise. People got
totally.
You talk about the desktop. Like I ran an ad, and it may have been this one. Actually, it was this one. When I ran this ad on Facebook, I got so many negative comments on it. Like a lot.
That is incredible.
Comments.
That is incredible. How many of you guys are getting negative comments? I can just see it now. I can just see Grandpa right now from his jitterbug phone. Like, get off my Facebook lawn. Like, I mean, but do they do that? Do they do that during Hulu? Do they do that when they're driving on the freeway? And I've actually seen this. I've actually seen. I was following a Dutch band for a long time. I still love them to this day. The band Raccoon. Good stuff, guys. But they were in California for a tour, and I remember him writing about like all the billboards on the freeway. This is a consumer nightmare kind of thing. I get that. Amsterdam's so beautiful; they're not used to it. But really, like the average American driving down the freeway, are you really like, oh, too many billboards, right? Like, who do you think pays for Facebook? It is free. It is a free platform. And because it's free, it's going to bring everybody. It's like, I'm here to see my grandkids, not your ads. And it's like, you couldn't even see your grandkids if it wasn't for the ads that were paying for this. And, I think those same people, the reason they hate ads is because they click on them and they buy.
Right. It could be that. Yeah. And what's funny is like on this Facebook ad, for instance, like I targeted people who had interest in social media related stuff. So I'm targeting people who follow Mari Smith, Pat Flynn, Joel Comm, us. And they're people who are in the social media sphere,
right?
Yet they're complaining about seeing an ad. They're like, "Why are you on my?" I literally had somebody say, "Why are you on my page?" and then I had people saying, "Well, I use an ad blocker all the time." Whereas obviously their ad blocker's not working because they saw the ad. But there's a lot of people who use ad blockers on Facebook, and so it's a different mindset. You don't use an ad blocker on Instagram. You don't. You can't. There's not. That I know of. There's no way to do it. Where on Facebook desktop, you can sit there, you can do an ad blocker and not see the majority of the ads anymore. And so that's why I think while you can get a lower in most of the studies I've been doing now, where I think we've published a few, I got a few more coming out, where we're comparing CPC of Facebook to Instagram to Twitter to Reddit,
right?
All these different things. And Facebook tends to be lower than Instagram, but Instagram tends to be better. And it tends to be a better audience. So you're going to spend a little more for the click, but you tend to get a better audience. Like you said, you bought something from Instagram. Jennifer, our social media man, she's talking about all the time how she's just, constantly buying stuff
all the time
through Instagram. So if you're selling stuff on Instagram,
T-shirts,
especially the kitschy stuff, the quick buy, those things are hot on Instagram, especially because the way you can integrate now with like Shopify and those sort of things.
You want to sell me something on Instagram? Sell me like a pop culture shirt or a mug from the 80s or the 90s, right? Like, put Ralph Macchio on a coffee mug and, my what belongs to you. Like, I will turn over my cash to you to have that mug. Even if it's only for 3 dishwasher cycles, because I bought this epic Golden Girls t-shirt on Instagram. I was actually really pissed off about this. I bought this Golden Girls t-shirt that looked like the Queen album of Bohemian Rhapsody, and it said Queens underneath it, and I loved it. One wash in the cycle, and it's gone. It just looks like polka dots at this point. So really,
that's what happens. You buy stuff on Wish. Yeah,
it took 8 weeks to get here, and
over to you.
I think that you're absolutely right. Naomi Nakashima is saying, I think people on Facebook have ad fatigue. Everyone is a walking ad. It's true. Like even your organic stuff is trying to get you to go somewhere else, which is why I like groups so much. Lisa Fredrickson is saying something. My emojis are blocking it. Not many, if any, but you need to set up the audience and match the ad to it. So true. Like I see so much of this happening where, it's kind of like there's this assumption that people are going to watch you just because you love the product, right? And I hear this a lot, from my clients as well. Oh, it's going to go viral. It's going to go viral. And this video is going to go viral. It's about divorce. We're going to show you how to get divorced quick in a day, Owen. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like we're in a country that generally, it's not like a pleasant thing to talk about. You know what I mean? It's not going viral and because you're going to blanket it out to the city. You got to pick an audience. And even from then, what are you going to find? Users. People arguing with their spouse. Like, you're not going to find that audience. You're going to have to find, a different style of audience. So lots of things to be thinking about there. Scott, bring it home for us. What did we learn from this, and how can we use this in our marketing moving forward?
Yeah, I think what we learned from this is, yes, you want to include text on your photos if you're running ads on Instagram or Facebook, whichever one you're running them on, and you should run them on both, depending on your product, of course. So yeah, I would make sure all your ads that have photos on them, which I wouldn't, unless you're doing a video, you're running a photo ad,
right?
And so make sure you're putting text of some sort on your ad. Now, do keep in mind that even though the 20% rule that Facebook used to reject your ad if it had over 20% text, now they don't reject it, but they'll send you a little notice that says this is going to get lower reach because it has too much text. It kind of gives you like a, red, yellow, green sort of, rating on your ad. So if you go too far with it, they're going to let you know you're going to have to pay more, for people to see it, and you may not get as much reach. So you still want to, I still say stick to the 20% rule. Because you're going to get, Facebook wants that stuff in the feed more, because they don't want it so in your face. So you don't have those grandpas, yelling at you to get off my lawn with your giant, text only ad. Right.
And I think that if you look at the YouTube thumbnail model, now YouTube thumbnails allow for lots of text. Like there's no rules on that. Because it's all organic. Like, you can't advertise per se in the YouTube feed, right? It's an algorithm. So take a look at what we do is we'll put like a big band of color, across the ad, and then, small words inside that band of color. So the color draws your eyes in, and then it causes you to focus on the words, which keeps you within the 20% rule. But the color bar, the color band, can be bigger than 20%. And that's kind of what draws the eyes.
Right.
Lots of different techniques to try. And we would love to invite you guys to test your ads. Run an ad this week and tell us what you thought. Like, tell us what happened. We would love to share your story on the Social Media Lab Live, because this show is all about you and helping you to get better performance from your Facebook, Instagram, your social media activities. Now, that's all the time we have today. Thanks for joining us. And don't forget to type 5 into the comment section now. Join us in the Social Media Lab Lounge. We have a meme contest going on. You can go ahead and cue the music. Go ahead and we got a meme contest going on. And join us again next week for another killer episode of the Social Media Lab Lounge. I'm Owen Video, here with the best social media scientist, Scott Ayers, and we will see you next week.
See ya. We'll just sit here and smile.